Hello everyone, welcome back to another Ember Sickles video. Today I will be finishing the Minecraft Dungeons Secret Levels series by ranking the 5 levels that we found. Before we get into this, I want you to know that I will be ranking these levels off of how creative their setting is, how good or interesting the objectives are, the variety of enemies that you'll encounter, and how good they are for farming or replaying. These are, of course, my personal opinions. If you disagree, that's perfectly fine. Let me know in the comments what your favorite of these levels is. And without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, number 5, and my personal least favorite level, is the triple question mark level that you can use, that you can find by the runes. Now, this may be somewhat controversial, but the setting is okay. It's not my personal favorite. It's not as creative because it's taken directly from Minecraft, the game, just the Mushroom Island biome. It's still a pretty interesting setting. It's different from the other ones, but it's just not super creative because, again, it's just a setting in the other level. In terms of objectives, there's really just the one. You're just trying to get to the boss at the end of the level, so there's not a lot to do there, not interesting there. There's essentially no enemy variety. You're just fighting mushrooms. Of course, this is because the level is an Easter egg, and I understand that, but I am just rating this still on whether you're going to want to play them or how interesting they are. So, of course, obviously, mushrooms, not good with that. It is a good XP farm, however, because just fighting through them, they're fairly easy to kill as long as you don't get yourself trapped in between them, and they can give you tons and tons of XP, so that is quite good. And of course, it is the only one out of the secret levels that has a boss, so I do appreciate that. But the boss isn't completely original because it's mostly just based off of the redstone monstrosity. Although it does have a new attack, so still gives it some points. Overall, though, just because of the settings, objectives, and enemy variety that are pretty much lacking, I'm just, it doesn't hold up to the other levels. Okay, now number 4 is going to be Under Halls. Now this may be a controversial pick, but I chose a lot of this because of the setting. Now, some of you may be confused because you think that the setting is unique with the wine cellar and the prison, and of course the library section at the beginning. But I am going through this as if you were playing the secret levels you can unlock first. And though they are technically new settings, they just give off the same vibe that you get from Creepy Crypt. It really just feels like you're in kind of a dark area. It's hard for me to even tell whether I'm in a prison or a wine cellar without it telling me where I am at the top right of the screen. So I just don't, the setting's not as good. It feels just too similar to Creepy Crypt, and also the beginning section, while I like it, is taken directly from High Block Halls. Now, in terms of objectives, the objectives are okay here. You do have a blue key golem that you need to get, which I do appreciate. So I appreciate that they added a little bit of variety in there, but most of it is just explore and then escape, which of course is going to be the other secret levels as well. The blue key golem is nice, though. Do appreciate that being added. In terms of variety of enemies, it's okay. It's not a huge variety in my opinion. But you do have a decent amount, actually. I think that there is a good variety in there. Sorry, I'm just a little confused with myself here. You get cave spiders, I believe. You're gonna have zombies and skeletons, I think. And then you're also gonna have villagers. So it is a good amount. It's a good variety of enemies. So I do appreciate it spices up the gameplay a bit there. As well as having some traps. So it's nice that they have some traps in there to spice up the level a bit, but it's still just, it's not super great. And it's just not really a good farm. There's very few chests, not a lot of emeralds either. I don't think it's super great for XP. It's just doesn't have a lot of replay value in my opinion. It just kind of falls flat if you ask me. Alright, the third level that we're in this list, third ranking, number 3, is Soggy Cave. Now, Soggy Cave is in number 3 for a few reasons. It's not higher because the setting is just identical to Soggy Swamp. There is almost no new aspects in there. Of course, it does have some ruins, but that appears in essentially every level, including Creeper Woods, which comes before. So it's not really getting any points for that. And again, it's just the same as Soggy Swamp. In terms of variety of enemies, it's got a good variety of enemies. Again, same as Soggy Swamp, but that's okay in this case. You got witches, which do only appear in Soggy Swamp, so that's nice. And then other than that, you got your Vindicators chasing towards you. I believe you also have slimes, which only appear there. And other than that, just your normal. You have some skeletons and zombies. I mean, it's a decent enemy variety. In terms of objectives, it's really not great. They do have Explore in there and Return to the Boat, which is nice, but it's still just not that great. It's not a lot of new objectives. It doesn't have any key golems or things you need to destroy. You're just going through the level. But the puzzles are nice. I do appreciate the puzzles being there because they are unique to that level, and they do spice it up, even though there are only two kinds. Lastly, it's a very fast level to play, and there is an obsidian chest guaranteed just playing through the level. So that is nice, but it is only going to have a limited amount. So it's still not the best in terms of farming, but it does have the obsidian chest, so if you're looking for unique daggers, I think, gauntlets, or glaives, it should be doing pretty good for you. That'd be a good way to go through. Alright, number 2 is going to be Creepy Crypt. Now, Creepy Crypt is number 2 for a few reasons here. We have a pretty creative setting. I know you may say that it's very similar to a lot of other little special sections in the levels or the secret levels, but it is the first one that appears because it's in Creeper Woods. So I'm still giving it the full points for that creative setting because it's the first thing players are likely to encounter. Now, the other thing is the objectives. The objectives are okay in this level. You are able to get the book, and then you're supposed to leave the tomb. So I do get the sense they're hinting at some lore there. It's pretty interesting. You're in a tomb. It all leads together with just getting the book. It's at least something to spice up the gameplay a bit. There's some ambushes in there too. For a variety of enemies, we have a pretty good variety. You're going to see a lot of creepers, a lot of spiders. I believe you'll get some wraiths in there too. And I forgot to mention that wraiths are also in Underhalls, which is good. And then zombies and skeletons, and some Vindicators as well. So, good enemy variety. It's got a lot of different enemies. You also see wraiths early in the game if you're able to unlock it, so that's interesting. Lets you see a new enemy type much earlier than you normally would. Other than that, it's also an amazing farming. It has great replay value because it's amazing emerald farm. There are just going to be so many emeralds in all the little sections that it's definitely great if you're going to go into the crevices and just explore every section of the level. Also, it's a pretty good item farm, in my opinion. There can be up to 22 chests, I believe. You can get a ton of chests, and I know some of those are going to be just giving you emeralds because they're common, but you can get a good amount of gold chests too. So it's just really great opportunity for getting a ton of items, going through all that. It's really useful. Alright, number 1. Again, personal opinion, but I have to go with Archhaven. Now, I really like Archhaven for one main reason, which is the setting. I really appreciate the setting because it is pretty much completely unique from all of the other levels. You have kind of this I don't know how to describe it. It's of course at night, which is a setting I really like, but it's also a bit light. It's very spooky a little bit. You're kind of seaside. It's a very seaside area, which I can appreciate too. It feels like I'm on a little special island here, while also giving the same kind of relaxed vibe as Pumpkin Pastures. So it's sticking with its source material, but it's also just doing something completely different, which I really appreciate. The objectives are pretty good as well. Your first objective, I believe, is to just explore or get to the spells. Your second, which is of course normal, but the second objective is what makes and breaks it, which is the spells. You are supposed to go and destroy 3 spells. The similar objectives to this are seen a lot of the way through the game, but I don't know, I just like, it's a good thing to spice it up. It's similar to like freeing villagers, or if you're gonna have to go collect like the book, as I said in Creepy Crypt, except this is one where the enemies continually spawn. And so it's I don't know, it's just really interesting. And then you of course have to explore the abandoned mineshaft, which is cool as well. They're keeping it's still interesting. Even in the cave section, they have it an abandoned mineshaft, and it's also still seaside. So they're just keeping it interesting all the way through. You got a great variety of enemies. You have a lot of enchanters. I believe any type of illagers. So you got illagers with crossbows and the Vindicators, skeletons, zombies, spiders, creepers. You just got you got a good percentage of the enemies you are gonna see throughout all of them. So I just, I appreciate that. And lastly, it's pretty good for going through and getting some good loot as well, because there are actually 2 gold chests that you can find in the level inside the abandoned mineshaft. If you're able to get those, you'll have some good loot, and it's also a pretty fast playthrough of the level. If you're going through it right, you should be able to do it in about 5 minutes, and you'll be able to get both chests. So, I don't know, it's just really useful, and you should be able to go through, get some good loot. I especially appreciate it because I'm looking to get unique sickles often. So, I don't know, it's good. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the video. More videos will be coming soon. Hope you enjoyed the series. Definitely check out the other videos if you haven't already. And have a great day.